This is Chris, the Idaho Painter here on Paint Live TV. Today is one of our questions and answer sessions where we're going to answer your questions live right here on Paint Live TV, so stay tuned for this video. All right, here we are, Lisa. We're going to answer some questions here live, and we got our first question coming our way. So what is the question?
Bring it on, bring it on.
Bring it on. All right, here we go.
So, Alexander Santana asks, make a painter's tool belt video or a painter's tool bag or what's in your truck. Do you have a shed full of supplies or something? I'm sure you could spend hours talking about it and I'd definitely listen.
You could spend decades, but okay.
I can spend decades talking about it. So there was a tool belt video. I do get a lot of requests for what the heck, who makes my tool belt, but what the heck is in my tool belt? And I keep telling people I'm gonna make that video. I just need to make that video happen.
So it'll be coming soon.
So it'll come soon. So
I'll remind him.
I mean, some of the just things that are in my tool bag, tool bag, and I did get it from a local hardware store. It's a Husky tool bag, and just some tools: a Limbite scraper, 2-edge knife. I typically keep drill bits. I typically keep hinge pin remover.
I was thinking that.
What? The hinge
pin? And you said it right when I was saying that.
I always keep a Sharpie marker. I always keep.
Why do you keep a Sharpie marker?
Because I'm always labeled, like if I take the doors off and stuff like that, I'm going to label the doors.
Tip.
If you're going to be doing cabinets, you're going to be labeling the cabinet doors. We label everything. If you take a door handle off, you label it with tape, obviously.
So Sharpie is your friend.
A Sharpie is your friend. So those are a few of the items, but I'll do here soon coming up. What's in the Idaho Painter's tool bag? So, and there was a whole lot more to that question.
Yeah, but that's a start.
That's a start.
That's a start.
All right, good job.
You did a good job. I'm supposed to tell you.
Oh, okay, thanks. So next question.
All right, Derek Bosanova asks, hey Chris, always appreciate your videos, man. Is there a rule of thumb when it's necessary to primer the entire exterior prior to painting?
Where did that come from? Rule of thumb.
Rule of thumb? I don't know. That's a good question. That's a question in itself
yes,
that I don't have an answer for.
Okay.
But there really is no rule of thumb. You know, maybe some kind of rules. If it's bare wood, it needs to be primed. If it's bare concrete, you know, it probably should be primed, but it depends on, there's a lot of factors. Every job you drive up to, there's different scenarios, different circumstances, different substrate conditions. It's like trying to answer the question, should I back roll?
But I think for you, when you go up to the job site, you may think I have to prime this whole house, and then you get there and start working on it and you realize you don't. And so sometimes it adjusts.
Yeah, and
either way.
So sometimes here's kind of a rule of thumb. If it's painted and it's in good sound condition, why does it need to be primed? It typically does not need to be primed. But if it's painted in good sound condition, but it's a high gloss, well then it probably should be primed to get good adhesion for your top coat. So there's so many different scenarios, but if it's bare wood, I can say, the rule of thumb is you should prime it, but if you're staining it with like a solid color stain, like arbor coat, that's self-priming. That's a solid color wood stain, so it doesn't need to be primed. If it's a wood surface that you're actually painting, you should put a primer and then you should put a paint. Here's a rule of thumb I can give you about primers. If it's a paint that claims to be a primer in one, they just truly don't exist. Those are marketing ploys to try to get people that want to go the easy route, typically do-it-yourselfers, professional painters.
You think you're doing a good job by doing that.
Yeah, you think you're doing a good job.
You pay more.
Yeah, if it needs to be primed, you need to use a primer and then a top coat. So there's the answer to
I give that
question.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. That's the rule of thumb.
Rule of thumb.
All right.
Okay.
Next question.
All right, Kent Oakley asks, love your videos, watch all the time. Question, what is the difference between Floetrol and MI extender? Can the bug juice be put in with either of these products? Thanks.
Good questions.
I've never had that question ever before, so that's a good question about the bug juice. And so Floetrol and XIM Extender are basically the same, just two different companies. So we'll take latex XIM Extender. So adding that to paint gives you more working time. It slows down the dry time, which in effect, if you're brushing a door jamb because you can't spray, or you're brushing a windowsill because you can't spray or whatever reason, it slows down the dry time and it causes the paint to level out and flow out better, eliminating brush strokes or roller marks. And Floetrol does the same thing. So Floetrol and XIM Latex Extender both can go into water-based paints or products.
Not oil?
Penetrol, very good question. Penetrol is what would go into an oil-based product to do the same thing. But oil-based products dry slow without any additives, typically level out, lay out where you don't see roller marks or brush strokes. So if you're painting in the heat outside, putting latex extender, XIM latex extender in your product is great. If you've got to thin your products out for HVLP spraying because the viscosity is too thick, use latex XIM extender instead of water, and that's good. And then adding bug juice.
Yeah, part two.
Part two of the question, bug juice is water and oil compatible. Bug juice can go on oil-based paint stains and latex paints and stains, and is compatible with Floetrol, Penetrol, and XIM latex extender. And if you don't know, bug juice is an insecticide that you can put in.
It doesn't it's not juice that they love. Bugs don't like bug juice.
It is juice to the bugs, but it's not the good juice. It's the bad juice, so it kills the bugs. And that stuff actually works and works well.
If you don't want bugs.
I painted a whole entire apartment complex with it one time. I didn't paint with the bug juice. I put it into the paint. So it's an insecticide that goes into the paint as you're spraying, and it lasts up to 5 to 7 years. And literally 5 years later, they were having to power wash it because of the gnats attracted to the lights. Spiders go to the lights to catch gnats. You get spider webs, everywhere, messy paint down by the river. And 5 years later, they still hadn't power washed it, and there are no bugs. Absolutely incredible product. Must have great upsell. You can purchase the product, upsell to your customers, and make a little bit of money by just adding bug juice to the paint.
And
environmentally friendly.
Let them have a bug-free life.
And if we're answering your question in this video, whose every questions get answered, don't they get a gift certificate
But they
to our
have
store?
to go to idahopainter.com and say, you answered my questions, and then we'll say, oh, we did. And then we say, what is your email? And you'll tell me your email, and then we'll email you a gift card to our store.
Yeah, so idahopainter.com will take you to our store. Down at the bottom is the little live chat icon. Just go on there and say, hey, I'm so-and-so. You answered my question. You're live on your show, and can I have my gift card to your store? And we will give it to you. And bug juice is available right there if you're interested in it. So, all right, next question.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to paraphrase this one, but American God asks, I'm interested in starting a small business. What are the items I specifically need to start if I'm focusing on interiors?
You know, when I started my company,
No quitting attitude.
that's a good one.
Because it's hard work, and you gotta just don't quit and be successful.
So I started a painting company. It was probably 20 years ago, somewhere around then, and I had a truck, a '76 Chevy pickup.
I wish we never got rid of it.
And I had a ladder, got a 6-foot ladder, got some paintbrushes, and got a small airless sprayer, and some basic other stuff like a 2-gallon bucket, a roller pan, and I started painting with the very basic. So with interior painting, you're gonna need a brush and a roller. And then along with your brush, you're gonna need a 2-gallon bucket. Along with your roller, you're gonna need a pan. I like the jumbo pans, 9-inch rollers. Now you could step up to 18, but 9-inch is gonna be basic.
So, one pro tip, what type of brush do you want for interior? Because he's focusing on interior.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
So, because you go to the paint store and there's hundreds of different brushes.
Yeah, so if you're just focusing on interiors, I would probably a good all-around brush that works with thick and thin paints would be the Premier Montauk, and I would have a 3-inch angled sash Montauk brush from Premier.
Okay.
And
do you need a smaller? What type of smaller brush would you get for?
if I was in now for doing touch-ups and stuff like that in interiors, I would get a Hampton. I would get probably a 2-inch Hampton for doing touch-ups, a 2-inch and an 1.5 inch Hampton. So those are the 3 brushes I would have for doing interiors. And when it comes to a roller, I would use a 9-inch roller. I use 9-inch rollers for exclusively. I did probably 10 years before I jumped up to using an 18.
And when you jumped up to using an 18, did you I can't believe
I couldn't believe how much faster you can
for a
paint versus a 9. But there's some limitations. An 18-inch you can't do a closet with, or loading up an 18-inch for one room is kind of a little bit impractical. But a white woven roller, the best all-around roller I've used, and that's a Premier roller. And a 3/8 would be 90% of the time I'd be using a 3/8 inch roller. And those are just some of your basic tools.
Drop cloths.
Drop cloths, 6-foot ladder would be probably the most important all-around ladder. Now I had 4 foots and then all the way up to 12 foots, but a 6-foot ladder is gonna probably get you going. And those are some basic tools. Then you begin adding tools and accessories that make painting faster and more efficient is what it comes down to. That's when you buy an airless sprayer and just other things. And yeah, I think I'll put together a starter kit.
Yeah, like living within your means. You buy what you can afford, and then as you get more jobs going, or how much depending you have to invest.
So it went from working out of a back of a 76 Chevy pickup with those basic tools to eventually having 3 or 4 vehicles running 10 to 12 guys, multiple locations, to working out of the back of my truck again this year. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how that happened.
I do.
But I did get a trailer, and I'm doing a video putting together a new trailer, a used trailer.
So this could be part of answering the question.
Yep.
Is because you're going to show them what you're going to put in your trailer.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
So stay tuned. Next question.
Chris163 asks, have you ever painted a tin roof? Just curious on what your steps would be. I've done it and I found it tough due to the possibility of crushing the seams.
Okay, great question. I've done multiple roofs, and I'll tell you one thing I won't do again in my career is a roof, any type of roof. So in my location, the roofs get snow loads on them, and there's all kinds of issues with snow and the loads, depending on how much load is on a roof, to it shearing the coating off the roof. And I've done every recommendation by the paint companies, the reps, from managers, district managers, to doing a roof right, and the snow still shears it off. And huge liability if there's any snow load. If there's no snow load, no issue. But when it comes to not crushing the tin roofs, we don't walk on them. And so we do it with a lift. And so the last roof we did, well, not the last one, the one previous, we used a lift. So we were on a lift, and it was just a tow behind. And so the guys were standing on the lift, spraying off the lift. The other one was a really tiny house, and leaned extension ladders up against the fascia, and we sprayed it with extension poles because we can reach it with extension poles.
Ryan Bricky ironically asks, how do you prep brick for staining? Thanks.
Yeah, I've never done it.
You haven't?
No.
So we painted a lot of brick, and what's common nowadays, like painting white cabinets, is taking people's fireplaces and painting them white. People want to get rid of what they call like the ugly looking brick and stuff. I think it's like nice, but some of it can be ugly in some people's eyes and stuff like that. The first white fireplace I did, I was horrified that the person wanted me to do the white fireplaces. I'm like, oh my gosh,
You're
this
dating
is beautiful.
yourself now.
And I'm dating myself now. I am kind of old, but
yeah, but I mean that was a few years ago.
Yeah. So, anyways, you don't have to prime a fireplace if you're not painting a fireplace or brick. Brick and stone. If you're, and I'll just get away from saying painting. Stain it. Use a solid color stain. Use a product that's designed for brick and rock, and you don't have to prime it. And just a quick difference, paints, kind of just to explain it simply, paints create top coats on things, stains absorb into things. And so a stain's gonna absorb into it, into the rock and brick, and create color. And you'll use a solid color stain that's opaque, so it turns it white. Does it create a top coat? Because the top coat will peel. If you try to prime and paint brick, it will peel over time. If you stain it with a solid color stain, it won't, and it will look natural. What paints do is they start to get a lot of buildup because you're creating a top coat, and you start to eliminate some of that, the look that it's brick and stone or rock. And so, okay, yeah, it kind of starts to looks painted instead of looking natural. But maybe somebody wants that look, and then you would use something.
But you wouldn't recommend painting.
I would never recommend painting a brick. I would always recommend staining it, and I've used for a lot of years with success a product called H&C stain. So H&C solid color stain, and we use that for concrete sidewalks. I've used it for pool decks. I've used it for stone. I've used it for brick fireplaces inside and outside. And it's a great product. I've never had it peel or fail ever.
So how about application? I mean, doing brick, there's all these different layers and different, how do you get the paint on? What's the best way to apply
So
it?
spray and back brush, spray and back
Stain.
roll. So it's like doing stucco. There's an infinite number of ins and outs, pockets and things like that. You can never just spray it one direction and expect it to cover, because as soon as you stand to the side, you're going to see some of those ins and outs and stuff that didn't get the color applied to it. And same with the other side, same from top, same from bottom. So you're typically spraying from all those different angles, spraying and back brushing. So doing like a fireplace, it's typically an all day thing, because you're spraying it, back brushing it, back rolling, letting it dry, spraying it, back brushing it, back rolling.
So if I just walked and went, woo, I'm all done, then you'd sit back and go, whoa.
I would say whoa if you were going woo like that, because I don't think you need to do the sound effects when you paint. But but yeah,
Yeah, that would be really bad.
Some people want to know, why is it so expensive to do? Because to do it properly and do it right,
A lot of product and time.
a lot of product. It's going to take, if you've never done it before, it's going to take 3 times more product than what you think it's going to take. And it's going to take 3 times more time and effort to get it coated and coated properly. So I lost my shorts on the first one I did. I didn't actually lose my shorts, but I lost money.
That would be bad. You come home with no shorts. Not good.
All right, next question
All right.
before this goes down the drain.
Hey Joe asks, what does the term chinking mean?
People's names, like the one guy, he was
Hey
Oakley.
Joe.
This guy's
Yeah.
Hey Joe. The one
I don't think they're real names.
I wear Oakley's used to be my favorite
Yeah.
glasses.
But what is chinking?
So that's it's an interesting question. Chinking, so we just did a video, a cabin series, where we prepped and stained the cabin to get it ready to chink. And so the best way to describe chinking to somebody is logs. When you stack logs together, the cabin, some of them, they'll put insulation, stack the log on top of it, because there's going to be voids and gaps and you don't want air leaks. So they stack them on top of each other, but then you also seal the log and you caulk it. Use caulking, but you don't
Special caulking.
You don't use special caulking, you use chinking. And chinking is sticky, nasty stuff, unlike caulking, and it sticks very, very well. And it's used to fill the gaps in between logs and wood to help seal it from bats, from bugs, from air, from leaking through. But then it also makes it look awesome. So chinking is what I learned. It's an art and a craft. If you've never chinked before, chinking,
You can be very patient,
you have to be extremely patient applying
detail
chinking.
orientated.
Takes special tools and stuff. And so those chinking lines are a special type of caulking that typically have like sand in it, so it looks kind of like grouted. It looks like a grouted line, and it's like an elastomeric type caulking that bonds extremely well, but also flexes really well, because chinking lines are typically filling larger gaps than caulking will ever fill. Caulking will shrink too much, chinking will not, but they do stuff like backer rod and things like that, to fill big gaps and then put the chinking over the top of that. So, specialty caulking on log homes is the easiest way to describe it.
Good job.
Hey, thanks.
Fist bump.
Next question.
All right. Leonardo da Vinci asks,
Oh.
Chris, what happened to your cruise? Is COVID limiting your cruise?
It's not limiting his cruise because he doesn't have any cruise.
I don't have a crew anymore. The crew, well, I guess
We sold.
you're on my crew. Afton's been on my crew, my daughter.
Yeah, no, we made
sold
some
the painting company.
changes. Yeah, we had a great season with B&K Painting, and it was a blessing to us and our family, and it was time to pass the baton to the next generation. And you wanted to take time to really focus on the craft and to really test products and to really test tools. And if you're running a business, it's difficult. We were doing that for many years, trying to do many different things, and so it was time. So now I get to go out to the job sites with him.
Yeah, I ran a business for
18
ran
years?
crews for 18 to 20 years painting, and I'm getting old, and so
It's just different seasons.
yeah, different seasons, and we're doing different things now, and now I'm painting alone, and also shooting videos. I got more time to shoot videos, teach and educate, which I have a passion for, and to test and try new products to give my audience feedback.
So the last project you did, how rewarding was that when you finished it?
It was very rewarding, and it goes back to, I'm a self-taught painter. I started painting on my own and I've never once worked for a journeyman, under a journeyman painter, or for somebody else. And so I had to learn the hard way before YouTube ever existed, or books on painting existed. And so I learned, and I worked alone, painting exteriors in the day, interiors at night, and then eventually got built up crews doing it for me, and it got a little bit easier to do. Then I started managing crews, and now I'm back to painting alone by myself. I did, if you've probably seen the video series, when I was painting a full exterior solo, and when I was done, it was very rewarding. It was a very difficult job, very rewarding, and I just did a commercial building solo, a huge building. And when I got done with that, extremely rewarding to see, sit back and say, I did it all and I didn't rely on others to do it. We're not all in that position, and can afford to hire painters. And so it's nice to get back to doing it, like a lot of painters out there are doing it, and understand, what they're feeling and what they're going through.
But even on these jobs, you are using different tools that, if you were running crews, you didn't have the luxury to try a paintbrush, because if it didn't, do what it needed to do, time is money, and your customers, and so you have a little bit more time now to do that.
Yeah, my customers are way more flexible, because I just tell them, look, I work alone and I create educational content, so you got to be patient with me, because the job's going to take probably a lot longer than it normally would if you hired a crew. So, and my customers are always willing to work with me, in those situations. And I got a lot of people sending me products. If you've created a product, you want me to test the product, send it to me. We'll test it. And if it's a great product, it's going to go right in my vehicle, and I'm going to talk about it and share it to my audience and let everybody know. Simple little tools like a little brush buddy that goes on a paintbrush to hold your brush is made by a painter, carpenter, and I thought it was amazing, and now I use it and share that information.
So to end it, Alexia Smith wants to know if you were John Cena's brother.
Sister. No.
John Cena is my son. I'm old enough to be his dad.
Yeah, you would. Hi, Dad.
So what's interesting is how many people make that comment that
daily.
Oh my God, every day,
I know.
multiple times a day, people make the comment that, oh my gosh, it's John Cena as a painter.
I think that would be, if anybody knows John Cena, we need to have them meet, because that would be kind of funny.
I wonder if anybody ever says to John Cena, dude, you look like the Idaho Painter.
I don't know. That's a head scratcher.
I wonder if it's like the same thing, like, because people think I'm 6'5", and when they meet me, they go, oh my gosh, you're so little.
Yeah.
I wonder if John Cena is like 5'2".
No, he's tall. He's a giant.
Is he tall?
Yeah.
Who do you think's bigger, like me or him?
No, he's like big.
No, who's got bigger muscles?
He's a bigger person than you. You're like probably a mini.
This is going the wrong direction. Yes. I guess.
No, he's like 6'6" or something. He's like a giant.
John Cena is 6'1".
Okay, 6'1".
So John Cena is taller than me.
Yeah, he's taller than
So
you.
he must be way bigger than me.
Yeah, because he doesn't look scrawny.
I do have a new workout video series coming out.
Coming to you.
Fitness for painters.
And painters' wives.
Paint longer. No, be stronger. Paint longer. If John Cena, if he starts to atrophy, get a little bit smaller or anything, John, I got some good workouts for you
Yeah.
to get fit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll end it on that. the whole John Cena thing. So,
And yeah, every single day
yeah,
I see that question.
every single day. So it is kind of funny, but
So maybe
someday I'll get to meet John Cena.
Yeah.
So,
And maybe John Cena will be like, I finally got to meet the Idaho Painter.
So, how do people, once again, the people that we've answered, if we've answered your question, if you
This
have
is what you do.
Privilege.
If you heard your question answered, asked and answered, you are going to go to idahopainter.com. That is our online store. And
Yeah.
then where do they go once they're on our online store?
the little chat button down at the bottom, say, hey, and you know what, we'll actually double it this time. We'll give you $50, for our store. And if you want your question answered, leave it down in the comment section below, and hopefully we'll pick you next time, and you can hear your question answered live, and hopefully
Live for us.
answered seriously. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, because what happens?
They get notified I get emailed when your videos go live.
You get emailed. All it is a simple little email. When the video goes live, you get emailed that, hey, the Idaho Painter posted a new video. It's simple, free, easy to do. It's a special
And you don't
way
even have to get a loan or a credit check.
You don't.
Boom.
Smash it.
No credit check.
Smash it, hit it. Just do
No
it. It's a
interest rates.
Simple way to help support
Interest rates are 0%.
us. It makes my wife happy when
Happy.
the subscriber count goes up.
Yeah.
We'll see you on our next video. Ow.